stop doing that. It's Arrma Gorgon time. Let's get this baby built and see what it's all about. As I said in the previous video, John, the owner of Big Dog RC in Stoneboro, Pennsylvania, gave this to me last week, I think it was, and he wants me to build it and try it out and see what I can do with it. We're gonna do all kind of stuff with this thing. We're gonna build it real quick. We're gonna take it to the track in bone stock form, throw it down on the track, get some lap times. Speaking of Big Dog RC, they just did a new track layout. It's actually going on right now. I've seen a little sneak peek video of it, and it looks pretty sweet. It's got a crossover, which I think is going to be fun with monster truck racing. That might be a little chaotic, but it's going to be fun. What else? What else? Oh, this Wednesday night, they're actually having a trophy race, and I'm going to try and get this done. Test it out, everything worked out in this video, do some things to it to make it better for racing. And I want to try and enter it in that race this Wednesday. I'm not saying I'm going to cheat or anything. I don't know if there's any rules in that class yet. So we may or may not take advantage of the no rule in that class thing. You know what I'm saying? I'll keep the stock motor, but I have a feeling something's going to happen to the tires and whatever else we can get into. Let's get started. Just kidding, I'm probably gonna need that. The tires and wheels, pre-glued. This must be important, it's in bubble wrap. Oh yes, the radio. Feels good. I didn't even look on the box to see what color this body is. It'll be a surprise. Ready? Oh, it is black. Sweet. I thought that was just a box. Oh, this thing's gonna look badass. This is a lot of stuff. I didn't realize this was like a full build. I mean, they do have like the shocks pre-assembled and like the hub bearings are in the hubs and stuff, it looks like. But this is basically a full build. If you happen to be new to RC and this overwhelms you seeing this, don't get scared. Manuals are usually pretty good, but let's take a quick look at this manual and see how good it is. I know that TLR and Associated, they do pretty good job with their manuals on how to build them. As long as you got your basic tools, most of these vehicles you just need a 1.5, a 2, a 2.5. You need like a 5 millimeter and a 7 millimeter nut driver. I think for most of your builds. I could be wrong. I'm sure there's other stuff out there that needs other things, but for the most part, I think that's what you need. What is this? Did they give me a preloaded credit card? I don't know what that is. I'm not going to throw it away, though. Get assembled. What's included? Get started. Got to start with the get assembled before we can get started. That's enough talky. Let's get going. I'm not going to show you all the steps because that's probably pretty boring. And I can be long-winded and trip over my words. And that gets annoying too. That's bag 1. Bag 2. No assembly required yet. Oh, that was easy. Okay, here we go. Bag 3. Bag 3 contains the contents as per the image on the left. They are correct. Also, they give you the bolts in separate baggie to complete this step. This is going to be the easiest build I ever did. Arrma's doing a great job with this. I forgot to turn that light on. That's better. Now you can see all my beautiful facial features. This is going to be cake. I'm not even going to bore you with this. I'll skip ahead a little bit. All right, so here's why I think the steering is a little bit janky, but I hope I'm wrong. It's only going to be held together. You put one bolt through this hole to the servo saver that's already pre-mounted on the servo. The screw goes through that steering rack right into that hole on the steering servo. It's through here like this. See if I can do this with one hand. There we go. And you put the screw right down through there. And that's what holds everything together. I have a feeling if there's a weak link, it's going to be this setup. I'm not talking down or saying anything bad about it. I don't know. It's just my opinion and what I see. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it lasts forever. Starting to look like a, well, it actually kind of looks like a submarine, but it's looking like something. So far, this is going together really easy. I'm on bag 9 now, and that is the front lower control arms, front skid plate, the hinge pins for the arms, this little doohickey, and the screws to put it all together. We're on to sack 12 already. Let me go find that. 12. Does it matter? Looks like it's the right side in the picture. Each bag has its own little baggie with the screws you need for that step. This one has these four. Squeeze the chassis together to get them down in, and then there's a shoulder for these two holes. Then I had to kind of push this way too and to get it to snap up over. I imagine maybe they purposely leave that split like that with some tension on it, so you really got to snap these things together, because this thing is really well built. I mean, this thing is freaking bulletproof. All right, rear shock tower is on, and lucky for me that was bag 15, because what I like to do anytime I'm doing a build and I get the sack 16, it's definitely time for a quick break and have a half-ass bologna sandwich and a beverage of my choice. Today's happens to be Genesee Light. We'll be back in a moment. All right, snack time is over. Let's get on to bags 16 and 17, front and rear shocks. I can only assume that there's very little oil in here, if any, but I suppose for the sake of the video, I probably shouldn't even open them up. I'm just gonna put this thing together 100% from the box, and we're gonna run it and see how it does. And then I'll start picking this thing apart and see what we can do with it. All right, shocks are on, and it's starting to look like something other than a submarine. I hear fluid in there, but I don't think there's much, and it's definitely not thicker. It's not that thick if there is, but I got some spacers in here on the shocks. I'm gonna just leave it as it is, and we'll see how it goes. We are on bag 18 now, front and rear bumpers. The most important bags, bag 20, tires. I don't even think there's foams in here. They are already glued. This might be the biggest problem I can see so far with, at least with trying to run this on a track. If you watch my video on the LMT, I took the stock LMT tires, ground them down to slicks, and they worked great on a packed clay track. Well, we're gonna try it with the stock tires, and then we're gonna see what we can do. Maybe I can unglue these and make some foams for them, grind them into slicks. That's probably what I'm gonna do. But we'll run them like this first. Let me slap these on real quick. Got a ton of travel, holy moly. Instead of using the nickel metal battery that came with it, it has these smart plugs on it and stuff. I don't have any of that stuff for my chargers. I'm gonna hack this plug off of here. I'm gonna solder some 5mm bullets on it, because all my other stuff has 5mm bullets, and it'll just make my life easier. And then we could solder this back on, or a new one on, at a later date. Go ahead and put my crappy soldering skills to the test. I'm not gonna show you guys my soldering skills because they're pretty pathetic. You've seen my solder joints. I'm using a couple chunks of this foam to put on each side of the battery to keep it from rattling around in there, because the compartment's this big and I put a battery this big in there. So that worked pretty good. I don't hear any rattling. I think that's a wheel. Pretty plush, even though I don't think there's much oil in there. We'll find out what's in them shocks a little bit later. Slap the body on this thing, and I'm gonna make sure the radio works and everything. And what the hell's stuck on my arm? We're gonna take this baby to the track. What, that's not how you warm up for a race? Liar. Let's go. Whoa, I already forgot they did a new layout. This looks sweet. Wait, am I even going the right way? Nope. They turned it around. I better turn this around. There we go. Uh-oh. Bullet popped out of the battery. Let's try that again. Again. I'm gonna have to put a plug on this. Quick fix, I put some electrical tape around the battery to hold them bullets in so they don't pop out when I land hard. I'm gonna have to put a plug on this, but tape will work for today. Not gonna make that triple. The Gorgon's gonna have to be a double single. So that is basically one lap around this new layout. It's kind of tight and technical, but I think it's going to be super fun racing. I think this layout was built for the Gorgon. Is this a Demogorgon? I'm going to go up in the driver's stand with the GoPro and see if I can put together some laps without having to go up and down the steps 1,000 times to marshal myself. I'm just going to take it easy because I don't want to have to keep marshaling myself. Try and get a feel for the track here. Ooh, ooh. I tell you what, for knobby tires with no foams in them, this thing actually feels pretty good. I'm really surprised. This thing's a lot of fun. I don't know if I'm going to go for that big double just yet. I don't have any spare parts. I don't want to break anything today. Just want to see how it acts. In this new layout, the traction is down, I'm sure. Can't tell with these tires, but I'm sure the traction's down because everything's not quite packed in yet. But I just wanted to get a feel of this Gorgon in stock form and see if I can tell what it needs to do a little better. Slick tires, of course, would definitely be better. I think the fast line's down the middle of the moguls. I don't think a stock Gorgon is going to be able to triple that. So I'm just going to go double, double, single. They don't have the timing system in right now because of the track change, so I can't get any lap times. Ooh, there you go, land on your wheel, sweet. Try and pick up the pace here a little bit without crashing. Oh, all right, still working. Ooh. I'll tell you what, for $169 ready to run, everybody should probably have one of these. This thing is fun. Granted, we were on a track that wasn't quite prepped up yet for racing. It was a little loose, which probably helped with this, with these tires, because I know these tires wouldn't do very good on that track when it's packed in and it's tight, because they would just slip all over like the stock LMT tires did. I think that kind of helped it out today because it was a little bit loose yet. It's not quite compacted. And this thing was really good. You could use a little more speed for some of them jumps, but I don't know. It's a two-wheel drive monster truck. Do we really want to clear all the big jumps with it? Yeah, probably. There's a spot on here to put a fan on that motor. I think it would probably benefit from a fan because I'm going to go bigger on the pinion to try and get a little more speed out of this. But I got to wait till the hobby shop's open because this is a 32 pitch, I think, and I don't have any 32 pitch pinions. I'll probably go up a couple teeth on the pinion, pull this rear diff apart and see what's in there. It looked like it had a gasket on it, so maybe it has fluid in it. Maybe it's just grease, I don't know, but it's really loosey-goosey, totally freewheeling. I think it'll benefit from some thicker oil or grease in the diff. And the shocks, I was surprised. The shocks actually worked really good. But I'm going to open them up, see what's in there, and probably just put I'll look around and see if I can find out what fluid's actually in there. I don't think it was in the manual. But, you know, probably like 32.5 or 30 or 35 weight, somewhere around there is probably a good starting point. So I'll make sure them are full of oil, make sure that the gear diff is full of something. Go up on the pinion size, add a fan, because that motor will probably start getting hot once you start messing with the gearing. I think that's going to be it for starters. I really like to grind these down to slicks, but I'm afraid if I grind these ribs off, that's probably what's holding this tire up, you know what I mean? If I grind that away, these might just go and flatten out. So maybe I'll see if I can get some foam, cut around the bead, open them up, make a foam in there, glue them back together, then I could sand them down the slicks. That might be the ticket. I'm super surprised at how good this thing is. Steering's slow, but I got used to it. My first reaction was put a faster servo in it, but I started getting used to it toward the end there. So I don't think I'm gonna mess with it. I think I'm going to leave that alone. $169 bucks, are you kidding me? You better go buy one now.